Welcome back from that, and it's still the topical discussion discussing the startup ecosystem in Uganda, and of course the possible solutions to ensure that the startup system is very beneficial to the business community in Uganda. All right, Mr. Dennis, we are still discussing startups, innovations in Uganda, and this time around I want us to look at areas of priority in terms of when it comes to innovation. There was the aspect of space exploration, where Uganda was to launch a satellite. And of course, we see here, according to a report, that since 2016, President of Uganda expressed interest in the outer space in Uganda, and of course, beginning with the satellite as a way of solving many issues plaguing the country. And of course, we see that in 2018, directed the Ministry of Science and Technology, of course, to select individuals. And these are individuals that were graduates. And they were sent to Kyushu Institute of Technology in Japan. Yes. And then the state selected those 3 engineers who embarked on further studies and constructed Uganda's first satellite. So now, I want us to look at, and when I was reading this aspect, and I was thinking, why do we need a satellite? But when I explored more, I realized that there are potentials. One of them was weather, being able to track weather, to monitor the environment, because we know the environment plays a very crucial role in terms of determining the economic landscape of a country. And another was detecting disasters, and also helping farmers know which is the right season to plant. So let's now take a look at the aspect of space exploration in Uganda, in ways we can mentor these young men to explore that, because it's a key priority because of the benefits it's coming with.
It's very interesting. I never thought I'd be on a TV show talking about space exploration, but if I had my own money, I would have my own satellite up there. The benefits are ridiculously immense, and people don't realize how many satellites are up there. There are so many.
Very many.
But of course, this gentleman who built our first satellite, I don't know where it is, but someone has to take it to space.
No, it was supposed to be launched this last in September, but it was postponed to October due to weather issues, but still October.
But satellites, and this goes back to the point I mentioned earlier about data.
You know?
Sometimes you can't see trees from within the forest. Sometimes you have to get out of the forest to look at the trees. I'm reminded of, when we had the locusts. If you had to see this swarm, instead of running around to see how many are where, you could just look from the top. If you are tracking weather, especially recently with all these global warming and bad weather vagaries and they affect agriculture and so on and so forth. So satellites are very helpful, but crucially they are a key part of the communications. Telecommunications, and a lot of the businesses we see, certainly within our generation, they are internet enabled.
Definitely.
And satellite technology is one of those. When you see what's happening, like the war in Ukraine, and Starlink has had to step in so that communications can keep happening.
Keep on happening,
So satellites and technology and communications, very, very important. But back to what I was saying earlier, some of these require huge resources. Which we may not necessarily have.
Actually, Uganda was backed up with NASA.
Yes. So someone has to come in at least and give us a hand. But the point I was going to make is that we don't have to be that radical to make the progress that we need. There's already a lot happening that we could be doing, which we're not necessarily doing very well. So I wouldn't lose sleep over the fact that we don't have a satellite up there. It is going to get there, but there's lots of more other things we could be doing.
Because we looked at the potential benefits, regarding that. Since the sector it's going to help, it employs 70% of the Uganda's population. That's the agriculture sector. But anyway, still away from the satellite, I believe this can teach us something, that if Ugandans are selected to go and study to that higher institution in Japan, why can't this be applied in other areas of innovation? Because, like you said, we don't have to be that radical. But now let's simplify this. They may not have to go to a space institute in Japan. They can go to another institute which is specializing in something else, which is relevant to the economy.
You know what's very interesting? I might sound like I'm bragging, but Uganda is not short of great brains. But Uganda doesn't even have to first send these people to go and study. I've studied at Kingston University in London. I've been to University of Surrey, one of the top 10 universities in the UK, with one of the best business incubation centers. Higher education incubation centers in the world. I have worked at Anglia Ruskin University, set up business incubation center there around gaming and gamification. I have been to Birmingham City University where I'm doing my PhD around entrepreneurship and innovation, and we do lots of work there. So, but I'm here. You know, the government has not paid me a single dime to go and study. I'm not the only one. I know very many colleagues in the UK who are experts in their respective fields, who are desirous to come actually and help. I know that some have come here and been frustrated by the system. I've experienced a lot of that as well. So I don't think we need to look out there for solutions. We have the solutions.
Why I'm saying that is because recently I got in touch. You've heard of the microfuse computer?
Yes.
And now I got it very small,
yeah.
but you'll be amazed. But when I was having an interaction with this gentleman, he started from China, but he had the capability.
Yeah.
So imagine we had 50 into the same institute where he was at that time. What can that mean to Uganda?
Now, one of the things that people don't realize is how great our institutions here are. You know, because I went to Makerere University, it is very easy, ojibora, as the Baganda might put it, because even Jesus was never celebrated.
True.
In his hometown. But I can tell you the stuff that is coming out of, we work with COBAMS on a number of occasions, the College of Business and Management Sciences, as NES Africa, and sometimes you see the brilliant ideas that these students are coming up with. The issues are not that our universities are not thinking. There is a linkage that is missing from higher education institutions to commercialization, which is why day one is very important, making those linkages. And there are many reasons. You know, the culture has not been there in terms of that making that leap from just an idea within a university setting, which is just your exam, to commercialization. There are other things around funding and finances. There are skill gaps, genuine skill gaps. You can have a brilliant idea, you employ people, and they mess you up. We've seen this, even us as organizations. You hire someone, you think they're very good at their job, they turn out not to be very good. So there are very many things. I don't think it's to do with our higher education institutions. I think they're doing an excellent job. And when you look at some of the great work coming out of universities like Makerere University, and you look at the rankings of these universities in terms of the knowledge and innovation, I think we're doing an excellent job. The issue is that knowledge transfer and that cooperation. And that's one of the things we are really focused on this year as the Uganda Innovation Week, to make those linkages.
So could it be the reason why that when you look at the innovation index, Uganda is in reds? It's just about transfer?
Yes. A lot of it is to do, I mean, let me give you I lecture on a module, for instance, called design thinking, which is how you come up with business ideas. You take your students, MBA students, through this idea, and they come up with a business idea, but it's for exam purposes. They're passing a module on an MBA course. It stops there. Some of them will just stop there and go.
Definitely.
But I can tell you, in some universities, like in the West, students realize, oh, this is a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
They go and register the intellectual property. Now our index is going up. Venture capitalists invest in this thing. People drop out of university, start their businesses, you know. So those are the things that I'm talking about. And that's where business incubation centers come in, innovation centers, Startup Uganda, and the various members are doing excellent work. I can talk of not just NES Africa. I can talk of Start Hub doing excellent work, United Social Ventures doing excellent work within higher education institutions to try and commercialize, get those ideas from exam papers or PhD projects and get them out there as innovative projects that can start businesses, scalable businesses that are going to employ the vast majority of Ugandans.
Okay. Okay, maybe now still back to that knowledge transfer. Now the question is, why is it necessary that, okay, I've acquired the education in this institute, but then still, if I'm to really do something remarkable, why is it that I still have to get higher education? Is it that our education in terms of innovation, it's not trusted? Because these Ugandans that were chosen to go to Japan were graduates.
Yes.
Why did they have to go? And that higher learning, they went in, that was 2016?
Yeah.
So it took them another 4 years.
By the way, I don't have the data on this, but I don't think that there's a positive correlation between the level of education and entrepreneurship per se. No. I know so many people who didn't make it to university, and they're doing excellent work.
Very well.
It boils down to skills, though, entrepreneurship skills.
Entrepreneurship skills.
One, the ability to take action. Okay. You know, things like communication, being able to communicate. it takes things like very many other things that school could prepare you for, but is not a guarantee that if you go to school to study computer engineering, that you will get those particular skills. Not necessarily. So, and a lot of it could be around the environment in which you grow up.
True.
You know, if you grow up, and the Indians do this exceptionally well. Even communities like Jewish communities do this exceptionally well, where a child is born within the family business, they work with their father, they pick up on some of those skills. Yet for us on the African side, the breadwinner dies, they had their supermarket, the supermarket dies with them. You know, because the children maybe were not involved. So how do you learn? And again, entrepreneurship education is on the agenda this year as part of the Uganda Innovation Week. Day one is talking about what's happening within the higher education institutions. Entrepreneurship education is our curriculum fit for purpose. So those are the kind of discussions we're going to be having. But I know that colleagues at various universities, people like Professor Ernest Tabaho, Dr. Catherine Bid at Makerere, and very many others are doing excellent work around entrepreneurship. Part of my research, in fact, is around entrepreneurship education within various ecosystems. So I know that there's been progress, even to get entrepreneurship out of class and make it practical. But not just within business schools. I want to see this in engineering colleges, in agriculture colleges, in medical colleges. We're seeing lots of brilliant ideas coming from the medical schools. I mean, rocket health, perfect example.
Very good.
You know, so we need to put this thing upside down of how do you educate people, how do you get people to be entrepreneurial. It doesn't happen just in class and in business schools. It happens in very many forms all over the place.
Well, the government of Uganda, through the Ministry of National ICT and Guidance, in the year 2017, designed an innovation program that was called the ICT Initiative Support, of course, whose objective was to create a systematic enabling environment for nurturing, promoting, and uptaking locally developed innovations, but this time around it was more of ICT products. Now, looking at that, the first call for proposals was made in 2017. That was, and 40 innovations were shortlisted out of the 349 applications submitted. Now, how far have you gone as Startup Uganda to ensure that the innovators you mentor partake of such government initiatives or inform them of what is really available? Because, for example, the innovations that made it to the finalists were given support with startup capital, the likes of AIMS. There is Dero, there is Prisms, there is Inagro, there is M-Pharma. Hope you've had some of these.
I've had.
And then there is Blood Up, there is Sente, there is Kicare. Sente is actually already operating.
Yes, I know the Sente guys very well.
There's Wulira and Mono Technologies. So, how far have you gone to ensure that the innovations that you mentor transition to that level that they partake of such government initiatives, and also mentor them how they can actually be among the shortlisted?
You know, at the beginning we were talking about an ecosystem approach to entrepreneurship support within Uganda. And it's really very important. The theme for this year is our entrepreneurial ecosystem, those missing gaps. How do we plug them? Now, that is a government initiative, the one that's talking about run under the Ministry of ICT. I can't possibly comment on the effectiveness of that because it was run by... I'm coming. So that one is a government initiative. We have other initiatives like the Youth Ideathon, which was funded by the UNDP. And I know that there are very many others that have been run, funded by donors, but under Innovation Village. Outbox is doing an excellent job on a number of organizations like JICA and others. Then you have... So there are very many players within our ecosystem that are all pushing in the same direction, but we're not coordinated. And that is where Startup Uganda comes in. Where over 30 of these organizations that support these entrepreneurs are all organized and coordinated. Indeed, innovation, the whole Uganda Innovation Week is exactly that, to bring all these various stakeholders together to speak and sing from the same hymn sheet on the challenges that we're facing, on the opportunities that are available, make those networks and connections. That is the whole point, in fact, for the Innovation Week, to showcase what we're doing, but also to make those connections and broaden them, particularly from the financing side, which is why Day 3 is very important. From the higher education institutions, we're talking about innovation-led entrepreneurship. To government, in terms of policy, we're publishing during, I think on day one, research around our innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem, as well as a startup survey. We're talking about women entrepreneurship. You know, Ugandan women are more entrepreneurial than men, yet they have all these challenges. That is the whole essence of the Innovation Week. It's not just razzmatazz and robots coming up and down. No, we're actually beneath that having some deep discussions that we hope will culminate into a better ecosystem for Uganda.
Okay, so you talked about coordination.
Yes.
So we anticipate that time to come, probably years to or next year, all exhibitions regarding innovations will be in a coordinated kind of a format, whereby it's not each person having their own doing, I have this, because I believe that's the way forward now.
Not necessarily. You know, the nature of entrepreneurship, again, is entrepreneurship is not like engineering that, you know, 1 + 1 must be 2. No. And ecosystems vary. You know, what's happening in Uganda is unique to Uganda.
Definitely.
What's happening in Abuja is unique to the Nigerians. You know, what's happening in London or Tel Aviv is different from what's happening in Kampala. So you can't be very prescriptive. However, what you don't want is for me or for NES Africa as an organization to be working with blinkers, not realizing that there's another organization next to it that could be helping it, or that they could be working together, or that there's complementary. What you don't want is an institution, a higher education institution like Kabale University, to be struggling with entrepreneurs, yet we have organizations like NES Africa, like Startup Africa, who could come within the university to help those ideas from the university to get into the venture capital. So we're trying to bridge those gaps. And that is very key. But maybe on this note, I would like to really make an appeal to government. And I know that government has been very keen to support young entrepreneurs, and they've thrown money at it. But maybe for the first time, they should think differently. Most of my organizations, most of our organizations, I say mine because I'm the chairman for Uganda Innovation Week this year, most of our organizations are dependent on donor funding to do their job. I'd love a situation where Startup Uganda, this year, I think since our inception, we've been supported by UNCDF, and we're extremely grateful for that. But the funding was for 3 years, and the 3 years are now up, so we have to be looking to another person. I would love a situation where government comes and says, you guys have done an excellent job, individually and collectively. As Ministry of Science and Technology is budgeting, as ICT is budgeting, as finance is budgeting, could we find a small pot of money to support you guys? Because when we succeed, it's not just our organizations. Uganda is the one which succeeds. That's why we're rebranding from Kampala to Innovation to Uganda. People are flying in. We're speaking to venture capitalists who are flying in to invest millions of dollars in some of these startups. What we don't like is a situation where, having gone through the trenches, run through that fire, someone emerges at the top and then someone comes to take credit. No, 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 no. We want you to be with us during that journey. Come on board and support us in very many ways. It's not even just about money. It is about the policies that are happening. And, you know, I could go on and on, but we want to work arm in arm, glove in glove with government. I think we can do a much better job than we've been doing so far.
Yeah, actually, the government, through the Ministry of ICT, put up an innovation hub in Nakawa. I don't know how, and I've been there before. I've seen quite a lot of innovators showcasing what they have. Any initiatives that you've put up to ensure that you be a part of them, and you get to understand what is the criteria for you to actually...
You know, this is very interesting. I'm a business incubation consultant.
Okay.
But I can tell you that a business incubation hub, on its own, a building is not what makes it. It is not the building. There. It's not that laptop per se. It's good. It's good to have a beanbag and some internet connectivity, but that's really not what business incubation is about. It's about the subtle networks and connections that happen, the relationships that are built, the talent that is identified within those walls. So I think there is a need for government, when it's taking on such initiatives, to engage us more, to involve us more in creating that community. Because you want to be in a situation where you're setting up a business. At the moment, we're upgrading all our software, so like our website is down and things like that. You want to be in a situation where the guy who is next to you has done it before and can come on board. That is what the business incubation space is about. It's not just about the space. It's actually what happens within the space. And that's what we're doing. Startup Uganda and the various members, each of us have our own different hubs. Some are focused on agriculture, others on the creative industry, others on ICT, like Makerere Innovation Incubation Center, people like the Innovation Village. So you want a situation where there is interconnectivity.
Okay.
And where government, rather than government build its own incubation hubs, why not put those funds within our existing incubation hubs and let us do what we do best?
So can I say there is some kind of, a battle or something?
There's no battle, actually. I'm just passionately making a case for more support for Startup Uganda and the various organizations that operate under the auspices of Startup Uganda, including NACE Africa.
All right, now let's maybe wind this up with, let's take a look at innovations that have come from the local incubations, private incubation hubs, and how far they have gone. Because if we are to have this, the government support, we need to have fast results. Let's take a look at government incubation hubs versus private incubation hubs.
I think that one is a no contest.
It's a no contest.
Any private initiatives such as, Innovation Village, Outbox, NACE Africa,
Innovation Village has been a bit promising.
But government is not, or should not be, in the business of running business incubation centers. I think they should support and facilitate us who are doing it, either through higher education institutions, and I see quite a number of them now have their business incubation centers, or through our member organizations. There's over 30 of us scattered across the whole country. Why reinvent the wheel? Really, why reinvent the wheel? So there's no battle going on. I think we could be more efficient. We could be more effective. And again, as I mentioned, when we succeed, Uganda succeeds. And the objective of government, which is for these innovations to come up, will be achieved working through us, working with us, and getting us on board. I'm not saying that we're not involved. We're involved in various ways, and we would still progress regardless of government coming on board, because that's what we've been doing. Entrepreneurial, finding ways of working together. So we will still make progress, but we could make more progress
with government
involvement and support. And it's not just about funding, it's about policies, it's about, I could go on, it's quite a number of things that we could be happening. And one of the things that is going to happen at the end of the Innovation Week is a summary of all the things that will have happened. We've reached out to like the Deputy Speaker, for instance. Hopefully he can participate. So that from a legislative perspective, when the various committees in government are planning on how to get Uganda to the middle income status, innovation should be at the center of that. Our young people should be at the center of that. And we are the engines, the incubation hubs and the innovation centers. We are the engines. We just need enough fuel to get this jet propelled into space. Okay, that's all.
Maybe as we wind up, let's take, what is the opinion regarding these venture capitalists regarding Uganda? Why are they getting so much interest in Uganda? And since they came to Uganda to start to fund local, private incubation hubs, what has been their response like? Does their response give hope that their support will still continue?
Yeah, those are very good signs. We've been in the business of building ecosystems, entrepreneurship ecosystem, and the sign that things are beginning to happen is when you see people coming from outside excited at the opportunities that are being created within the ecosystem. So those are signs that they are beginning to have confidence in the various innovations that are coming up. They are beginning to look at Uganda as a destination. I can tell you that with all the economic turmoil happening in Europe and America and very many others, the venture capitalists are looking for opportunities to diversify their portfolio. They are looking at opportunities to, where's the next wave coming from? And it's happening in Africa, I can tell you that. And in Africa, Uganda is taking the charge. Yes, we are a bit late. We let the Nigerians, the Kenyans, the Egyptians, and the South Africans, but I can tell you we're catching up very, very, very fast. And so I'm not worried and people keep complaining that some of these startups, that they are foreign owned, that they're venture capitalists, the money is coming from abroad. I couldn't care less where the money is coming from. It's better to have a small piece of a big pie, than a big piece of a very small pie. I'd rather the next Twitter is born here, and even if it's headquartered wherever, but the vast majority, the skills that people are going to get along that journey. We know, people like Chipa Cash, Ham Serunjoji, Ugandan. He's flying our flag there. Do you know what that means to the guy in Kabale, where I come from, to know that a Ugandan started a company that is a unicorn.
Okay.
They believe that they can also do it.
Do it, definitely.
So those are the sort of things that I'm talking about. So, but he could not have made it without those people's money.
Okay.
So I have to be very careful how we frame the venture capitalist involvement, but it's a very good sign when they are interested in your business. Even if they don't end up investing, the fact that they're interested, it gives validation to you as an entrepreneur that what you're working on is actually interesting. As long as you hang in there long enough, another person will come and support you.
Okay. Maybe something also I want us to hint on. I know we're out of time. We just have, I see, 3 minutes, but we can wind this up. Let's talk about the aspect of a Google office in Uganda. That majority of our tech-based innovations actually have to run to Kenya for validation. How far have we gone to negotiate such terms? And when we are negotiating with these venture capitalists to fund us, how if we venture on such conditions of us actually having this establishment, or our negotiation terms are limited to just funding?
I wouldn't lose sleep over Google having an office here or not. Because if you go down that road, you want Twitter to have an office, you want Facebook to have an office, you want Tesla to have an office.
Okay,
go
actually,
on and on.
This one is meant for tech-based innovation.
Yes, yes.
For verification.
Yes, but you see, Google is a private company. And to be fair to Kenyans, they've been ahead of us for quite a while. So I'm not surprised that if I wanted to set up in East Africa, at the time these guys set up, I could have gone there. But I would not be surprised if very quickly Google realized things are happening in Uganda and they need to have a foothold here.
Okay.
But I think we have enough to work with.
Okay.
Before we even worry about who else is. We just have to build our ecosystem and make it attractive. And these guys will naturally fall in place.
So we should make the ecosystem attractive.
Yes.
All right, it's exactly 28 minutes past 9 a.m. And of course, the discussion is on the ecosystem in Uganda in terms of startups. Mr. Dennis, maybe the final remarks before we wind up in just 1 minute.
In 1 minute, I would like to call upon all young entrepreneurs, students, women, name it all. If you have an idea, a business idea, please come and join us from the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. It's going to be at Mestil Hotel in Kampala. But if you go onto our website as well, the Uganda Innovation Week has a separate website, as well as Startup Uganda. Go there and follow even online. It's going to be a fantastic 3 days, but you need to be part of this. So please come and join us, and let's make Uganda shine around enterprise, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that insight.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm so grateful for that. All right, now we come to the end of the topical discussion. I believe you've been able to get quite a lot explaining why Uganda's innovation ecosystem stands the way it stands, as we get to understand quite a lot has to be put in place to ensure its efficiency, not only to the economy, but also looking at the individuals and looking at the aspect of commercialization, as Ugandans should be in position to earn money from their innovations. All right, let's get into a short commercial break. More business insights when we return. Good morning.